Bitcoin isn't just a new technology, it's a technological revolution, meaning it's going to change the entire world, the entire industries as we know it. It's much more than just one little asset. So I don't talk about the price a lot. However, people do pay attention to the price. I call it the great bait and switch. People come in for the price and then they stay for the freedom technology. But what we do know is that Bitcoin is still up 60% on the year. So if you would have bought in January, you're still up way on the money. However, just as of recently, it's fallen down. It's taken about a 10 to 12% tumble. It's back down to about $25,000, $26,000, which is a great opportunity for you to get in and buy on that. But that's not what I want to talk about today. What I want to talk about was big news, and it's a little bit of a mystery. And the mystery is that an unidentified wallet has now become the third largest Bitcoin holder out of nowhere, within weeks. The wallet has accumulated 118,000 Bitcoins in only 3 months. Now, what we can see is that this new wallet address was first transferred Bitcoin. It was transferred 0.25, a quarter of a Bitcoin, on March 8th of 2023. And then the next month, 2 months later, in May, the wallet accumulated 64,000 Bitcoin. And then in June, another 54,000 Bitcoin. That's a lot. 118,000 Bitcoin. A total value of over $3 billion at the current Bitcoin exchange rate of 26,000. Now that's at today's price. That being said, it looks like they're in somewhat of a loss because they were buying when Bitcoin was higher. So they're actually down on their investment. But who the heck can buy $3 billion worth of Bitcoin? Now, Michael Saylor has accumulated about that much Bitcoin, but he's done it over years at different price points and through raising lots of money. Who can just break off $3 billion in the course of a couple of months? And so this has, of course, led to lots of speculation. Now, the Bitcoin blockchain is what's called anonymous but not private. All right? What does that mean? It means that we can see these transactions because it's an open monetary network. So we can see that there's a wallet that's accumulated all this Bitcoin. It's anonymous. We don't know who that wallet is. There's no name or ID attached to that. It's not private. So private would be we couldn't see it at all. So it's not private. We can see it. It's just anonymous. We don't know who it is. All right. So again, this leads to lots of speculation. Some of the speculation, as I search on my own through online data to see if anybody can come up with some numbers, one version is that the funds collected in this wallet represent BlackRock. This one seems like probably the most likely case. I don't know. Potentially the most likely case that large purchase of Bitcoins for these Bitcoin occurred exactly 1 month before the company announced the Bitcoin ETF. So, of course, the big news is getting a spot Bitcoin ETF, BlackRock being the largest asset manager in the world. And so if they want to open up this ETF, they're going to have to acquire lots of Bitcoin. And so they want to do that at the best prices. And so they could potentially move the market. They could easily seed some news out there, get some sells going, push the market price down a little bit so they could accumulate cheap. So that's one possible scenario. Again, we don't know. We don't know this because no one's come out and publicly said this, but it is fishy that they've made this announcement and they started buying before. Of course they would. They don't buy after because after they announced it, the price went up, right? So they bought it before they announced it. Another one that I saw suggested that maybe it's Robinhood. So someone on Twitter said that the unknown address accumulated, $3 billion worth of Bitcoin belongs to Robinhood Markets. Now, this is from Arkham Intelligence, said this. And again, we don't know. This is just speculation. But also, Robinhood is a big player. Potentially, they're doing it. In August, we saw Glassnode analysts estimated that about 90% of short-term Bitcoin holders were at a loss. And so a lot of that means that a scenario would be going forward is continued selling by these short-term Bitcoin holders whose holdings currently total 2.26 million. So markets are very efficient at moving capital from inpatient to the patient. So the short-term buyers and sellers are very impatient. They're the traders. They want to buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. They're very impatient. They're just trying to make alpha, right? Trying to make profit every day. The patient are the BlackRocks. The patient are the Michael Saylors. The patient are the ones that will wait. As Charlie Munger says, the big money's not made in the buying and selling. The big money is made in the waiting. The patient will wait for the right opportunity to pop up, and then they'll wait for it to turn into something else. So if we have these short-term sellers, they think short-term. They don't think long-term. And they hold 2.26 million Bitcoin. Now, as the price of Bitcoin was coming down, as I told you, it's down about 10 to 12% in the last week or so. As that came down, we saw a cascading effect of liquidations. So what happens, you have traders betting on the price of Bitcoin, whether it's going to go long or short. And as the price comes down, they start getting liquidated. Most of them are trading with leverage, so they get liquidated. And all of this Bitcoin becomes readily available, 2.26 million of it in the short-term sellers. So in this type of event where all this liquidity comes available, you have a buyer like potentially Robinhood, potentially BlackRock, we don't know, come in and just scoop it up, $3 billion worth, 118,000 Bitcoin. Now, what's important to understand about this is look through the news headlines to understand what is going on. There is a very smart, very sophisticated, very wealthy, I'm assuming they're smart and sophisticated because they're so wealthy. If you have $3 billion, you probably know a couple things. They're buying right now. So if you are thinking, oh my gosh, should I sell Bitcoin right now? Is the price going to drop down even more? I would ask yourself, are you smarter, more connected, more sophisticated than someone who has access to $3 billion to just drop at a drop of a hat? Now, if you're able to drop $3 billion into Bitcoin, that must mean that you have 20 billion or 50 billion, right? Like, how much of your portfolio are you going to put into Bitcoin? So it's not like they put every penny they had. They put a fraction of what they have. So if they're able to just drop $3 billion, they're very sophisticated, they're very connected. So then you ask yourself, why are they buying? We call that the smart money. You and I, we're the dumb money. So if the smart money is buying right now at this price, who the heck is selling? And then a better question is, why would I want to sell? And the answer is, I ain't. Now, also there's speculation that it was Elon Musk and SpaceX selling their Bitcoin. We saw news about this, about 373 million. They had about 373 million in 2022. And news kind of came out that they sold all of it. I haven't been able to back that up with any substantial information. What we do know is that they did sell some of their Bitcoin it owned in 2022. So we do know that. What it said, and it was a little bit cryptic what they put out, is that they were writing down the valuation of it. So does that mean that they sold it and they wrote down their portfolio? Or is it because it's gone down from the price they bought it at, so they've lost a lot of money and they're writing that valuation down? We don't really know, and so we don't want to move off of that. All right? Don't look and go, oh my gosh, look at Elon Musk. He's the smartest guy in the world. He's selling his Bitcoin. I should sell too. Don't look at that because that's not actually what the data says. So it's a little bit unclear. They're marking it down. What does exactly that mean? Did they sell it all? We don't know. But what I'm more interested in is who the heck is buying $3 billion worth of Bitcoin? And more specifically, what does that mean for you and I? Let me know on social media. Hit me up.